Dear Professor Maria Francisca Stiano, dear friends, thank you very much for inviting me to join the third Latin America Congress of China Studies. Since last year, we have started a collaborative research project on whole process people's democracy and its world significance. And it carried on an interesting questionnaire in 12 countries to test the people's view on democracy and the whole process people's democracy. And later I will call it WPPD. And what's more, we organized a conference to have a much wider and deeper discussion. And today I would like to share my viewpoints of whole WPPD, and with the title Whole Process People's Democracy Matches Words with Deeds. First of all, is in the political part of WPPD. The people's status as masters of the country is the essence of the people's democracy. Since the 18th CPC National Congress in 2012, with a deeper understanding of China's path to democracy and the political system, the party has developed the whole process people's democracy, WPPD, as a key concept and striven to translate it and relevant democratic values into effective institutions and concrete actions. WPPD integrates process-oriented democracy with results-oriented democracy, procedural democracy with substantive democracy, direct democracy with indirect democracy, and people's democracy with the will of the state. It is a model of socialist democracy that covers all aspects of the democratic process and all sectors of society. It is a true democracy that works, we believe. Therefore, are there democratic institutions in political party? Yes. In China, the people's status as masters of the country is the bedrock of all the systems of the country and underlies the operation of the system for state governance. WPPD involves complete institutional procedures. These well-coordinated and comprehensive institutional procedures serve to put into place diverse, open, and well-organized democratic channels to ensure that the party's policies and the state will are integrated with the people's aspirations and that the people are masters of the country. The system of people's congresses, an organizational form of political power compatible with the governing system of the people's democratic dictatorship, is China's fundamental political system and the ultimate approach and ultimate solution to guaranteeing the people's status as masters of the country. The deputies to people's congresses are fully representative of the people. They come from all regions, ethnic groups, sectors, and social groups, and function at national, provincial, city, and country, and township levels. At the end of 2020, for example, 2.62 million people were serving as deputies to people's congresses at all levels nationwide. Among them, those at country and township levels accounted for 94.5% of the total. Making full use of these close connections with the people, these deputies diligently fulfill their duties by soliciting and submitting the people's suggestions and advice through various forms and channels. The annual People's Congresses are first held from the grassroots upwards at township, country, city, and provincial levels, and then at the highest national level, to take full cognizance of the people's aspirations and report them to upper levels. Since the launch of reform and opening up in 1978, I remember, about 3,000 NPC deputies have gathered in the presence of the party and state leaders at an NPC session each year to discuss plans for national development and problems affecting people's lives, and to put the people's expectations at the top of the agenda on state matters. So the system of multi-party cooperation and political consultation under the leadership of the CPC is also a basic element of China's political framework. Under the shared banner of people's democracy and respecting the principles of long-term coexistence, mutual oversight, sincerity, and sharing the rough times and the smooth, the CPC and the other parties have created a new political party system with distinctive Chinese features and strengths. And this mechanism ensures that all the people can play a part in overseeing the work of the government and forms China's own model of democracy based on the two sessions. WPPD also includes the system of regional ethnic autonomy and the system of community-level self-governance. If I have more time, I can show you many more cases. And the second part is about the social part level. For example, we have legislative information offices. These offices collect public views and send them directly to legislative organs, contributing to progress in targeted sound legislation. And they are also developing new functions such as overseeing law enforcement, promoting observance of the law, and educating the public on legal matters. The first legislative information offices opened for service in 2015. By October 2021, the Legislative Affairs Commission of the NPC Standing Committee have set up 22 such offices in 21 provinces and equivalent administrative units, covering 2/3 of the country. And nearly about 7,800 suggestions have been made on 127 legislative drafts and plans through these offices. And China also has ensured that its people have channels like this to express their aspirations, wishes, and demands on issues ranging from important national strategies and policies to social governance and the basic necessities of life, enabling their voices to be heard and their requests to be answered. Through the democratic decision-making process, the people's aspirations and voices can become the guiding principles and policies of the party and the state. And these principles and policies embody the people's expectations and are implemented through cooperative and effective efforts by governments at central, provincial, city, country, and township levels, through the division of work and the teamwork of departments responsible for leadership, management, coordination and support, and through the collaboration and synergy of such activities as decision-making, implementation, inspection, scrutiny, and accountability. And concerning problems directly impacting their personal interests, people can make suggestions and demands via channels like the underline petition, leaders' mailboxes, government service hotlines, and online message boards, which can enable timely feedback and responses. And in a word, democracy is not a decorative ornament, but an instrument for addressing the issues that concern the people. Or whether a country is democratic depends on whether its people are truly the masters of the country, whether the people have the right to vote, and more importantly, the right to participate extensively, whether they have been given verbal promises in elections, and more importantly, how many of these promises are fulfilled after elections, and whether there are set political procedures and rules in state systems and laws, and more importantly, whether these systems and laws are truly enforced, and whether the rules and procedures for the exercise of power are democratic, and more importantly, whether the exercise of power is generally subject to public scrutiny and checks. And the third part is about the China's democracy in the historic perspective. We believe that democracy is a concrete phenomenon that is constantly evolving, rooted in history, culture, and tradition. It takes diverse forms and develops along the paths chosen by different peoples based on the exploration and innovation. So the best way to evaluate whether a country's political system is democratic and efficient is to observe whether the succession of its leaders is orderly and in line with the law, whether all the people can manage state and social affairs and economic and cultural undertakings in conformity with legal provisions, whether the public can express their requirements without hindrance, whether all sectors can efficiently participate in the country's political affairs, whether national decision-making can be conducted in a rational and democratic way. So democracy is the right of the people in every country, rather than the prerogative of a few nations. So whether a country is democratic should be acknowledged by the international community, not arbitrarily decided by a few self-appointed judges. There is no fixed model of democracy. It manifests itself in many forms, assessing the myriad political systems in the world against a single yardstick and examining diverse political structures in monochrome are in themselves undemocratic. Okay, so in the richly diverse world, democracy comes in many forms. China's democracy, now we call the WPPD, is thriving alongside those of other countries in the garden of civilizations. So China stands ready to contribute its experience and strengths to global political progress through cooperation and mutual learning. So I hope that more and more collaborative research projects on democracy and WPPD will go on and get more fruitful results. Thank you very much, and thank you for your attention.